This is WWE Smackdown. A tag team match with two tag teams. Crime Time taking on the Hart Dynasty for those of you watching in the United States of America. But yeah, I mean, no result there in the end, and nothing really to write home about except the big appearance of Taker interrupting that match. Why? God knows. But sure caught my attention for about 2.5 minutes while my eyes were about to really, go sleepy sleep. But yeah, what did you make of that whole Undertaker segment?
Well, Undertaker is certainly a guy who we've seen for so long. You've got to respect him. He's a legend. He's pretty much amazing. But what I don't want to see is the guy works so long and works so much that he ends up paralyzed, or he can't walk, or he already has serious medical problems, and we hear that he's in pain constantly backstage. I mean, you don't want to see the guy work if it's going to get worse and worse for him like that.
But why have him appear in this Crime Time Hart Dynasty match?
God knows.
Is there anyone out there watching who can answer that question? Because if you can, you'll get a thumbs up from me. Puzzling stuff. Absolutely puzzling.
Yeah, that's another one I'd call a head scratcher, but there you go. That's one that we're going to have to follow and find out what the reason for that was. Maybe they just wanted to keep Undertaker on Smackdown, where we believe he still is, but certainly appearing a lot more on Monday Night Raw lately, now that he's working towards that angle with Shawn at Wrestlemania 26. We'll talk more about that for certain very soon. We're going to run through the Smackdown report. And it was Tiffany who defeated Michelle McCool. Disqualification, as we said. Tiffany training up at the moment, and perhaps she will be going forward a possible Divas champion on WWE Smackdown. She certainly looks the part.
Yeah, it was a good promotion for Tiffany, and a good way to get her over with her in-ring debut. The match ended in a DQ, but it would be a nice little Mania match early on in the card. I think Tiffany definitely is a draw, and Michelle McCool can work, and definitely is a good person to have the title there on SmackDown. But moving forward onto that Kane Luke Gallows match, definitely left a lot to be desired. And the big interference there with Punk and Mysterio, and the whole thing went out the window. But yeah, I suppose the only thing that really was any of any significance with the whole 2 hours was the build with the Mysterio and Punk, and likewise with Jericho and Edge. The rest of SmackDown, you didn't really miss much. Big Show and John Morrison. And
that's the reaction to WWE Smackdown this week. And WWE writers, if you're paying attention, we're the viewers, and that's how we feel about it. Smackdown leaving a lot to be desired right now. Those are the results. Not much else to say about that, especially with such a big event happening, in contrast with the Monday Night Raw show that was put on. Perhaps maybe even feeling a little bit more special than it should because of that Monday Night War that went on there during the week. We've of course spoken about Raw, TNA, ROH. We've had a chat about FCW and indeed Smackdown as well. Now all our Justin.tv fans are weighing in the chat room, and they've been speaking a lot about Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, and it's really interesting. We've had some questions and some comments as well, so just tracking back now to find out what some of the guys have been saying in here, but apparently we've got JNO Chaos. He's in the room, and he thinks we're going to see Shawn Michaels retire. JNO saying he's a huge HBK mark, but he will hate to see it come to an end, but certainly that's kind of what a lot of us are thinking, that Shawn Michaels is perhaps done after this year's WrestleMania. Do you think?
Yeah, it will be sad to see Michaels lose that match, but where does it go? I mean, if Taker loses the streak, it doesn't really sound all too appealing with the 17-0, and either way, with a new stipulation, the pinfall or submission has to go through. It'll make it a lot more interesting, and there won't be any stupid DQ finishes or anything like that. But it would be sad to see Michaels go. I don't know if he'll hang the boots up at Mania, though. I'd say he's probably got another year left in him, and might go out on a high, definitely.
And another one from JNO saying that he believes that one argument is that a wrestler retires on his back, rather like Ric Flair did a couple of years ago, but Rick, of course, not honouring that retirement stipulation in some ways. Perhaps in WWE terms he is. But another comment there. Why couldn't they have Undertaker go out like that? Nobody seems to think that is what they will do. Certainly everybody paying more attention to Shawn Michaels in this match than Undertaker. Both guys had this match last year, and an amazing show it was, one of the best matches of all time, and now rerunning it. Can they revive that magic? Can they do it again?
It's going to be very tough. I think that match was unique, and it was old school, and it was definitely intriguing to watch from start to finish. And I think both of us came away last year saying, that was something really, really great, and the highlight of the whole show. Completely stole the show, and one of the, just a really good match. And one of the highlights of the last couple of Manias, without a doubt. But what we spoke about last week was I was in favour of Michaels going over with Taker, definitely, and to an extreme sense, where obviously it's not going to happen now, but putting Triple H in the mix, and if of course the title was involved at the time, but now the title is gone the other way. But it would have been nice to see Michaels take out Taker and Triple H on the same night in some sort of surprise twist match, and have Michaels really go out on top with the belt. But they took a big swerve, and that wasn't going to happen. But
more comments. And Perfect Hitman, he says HBK should win to set up a winner take all third match at Mania next year. That's his comment. He also said that it's a feud that rarely works these days, meaning a year long. In other words, saying that perhaps they should have taken more time. I assume that's what Perfect is telling us there. JNO Chaos again. I feel the HBK Undertaker match is the biggest match at WrestleMania, absolutely. And also saying with the Money in the Bank coming in at second, Money in the Bank always a good match. I wonder if they are going to incapacitate Shelton Benjamin like they always do in the Money in the Bank. Certainly a keen observation there.
Yeah, poor Shelton. I think it's about time they gave it to him. I mean, Drew's got his title and he's getting his push. Evan Bourne, he can float along happily in the mid card. Christian, he can get his time on Raw. Maybe go in with Miz for the US title. He's got a nice little place there. But Shelton needs to shine, and I think it would be a shame not to see him this year to come out on top, because he is the kind of underdog, and the people's. You can see people every year they root for Shelton, and he'll pull off his high spot and always delivers. And it would be a shame if, was it Charlie Haas after his release commented saying, Shelton was underused and that he should jump ship, and he would be a fool not to if he doesn't come out on top for Money in the Bank, because he's just going to go back in the mix, and he'll just be in his same safe spot on the payroll, and not much time on TV, no real promo action, and it's not a crazy gimmick he has or anything, but think Shelton definitely could do with coming out on top on that.
And Fire Soul 86, speaking more about that career versus streak match, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Some of his comments.